Hello everyone and welcome back to round number 2, the back 9 of the 2020 Chainhawk Open presented by Dynamic Disc. This is the longer Jonesville Park, and we saw Charlie Goodpasture off to a great start in the front 9. We've got Isaac Mars along with Adam Rogers, and rounding out our card is Georgia's own Jamie Keip. Like I said, this is the back half. Thank you for joining us, and thank you to my Patreon subscribers and supporters. All of this bonus content and coverage brought to you because of my Patreon supporters. So here we have Isaac on the tee of hole number 10, and I mentioned in the front half, every pin has been pushed back from what you guys saw yesterday in round number 1. As Isaac says, he has parked the short pin, which is about 40 feet short of what we see from the long pin. The longer pin is straight ahead and just slightly right of the short pin. Jamie loves the overstable MVP limit.
Didn't hear any chains.
You didn't hear any chains, Jamie, because it wasn't close to the basket, but it was a good shot. Guy's getting greedy. He gets an ace in round 1 and just thinks he's going to come ace all the time. Adam right up the middle. And coming off of a bogey on hole number 9. Now we saw Charlie Goodpasture. Great start. Struggled a little bit on 8. Took the bogey on 9. And that's the double or triple tree kick here on the tee of 10. He's got a lot of work to do from this left-hand side. And that is a solid forehand that should get him out of trouble. He'll at least have a recovery putt from there. Oh, and it looked good out of his hands, but no connection there for Isaac. He said he threw a buzz. Now, even after the great shot from that left side of the fairway, we still see Charlie with some work to do. Also a good look, but right now he's looking at back-to-back bogeys on 9 and 10. And Adam... Adam's just been off the mark. He has put himself in really good positions for a lot of birdie opportunities, and the putter is just not dropping for him today.
Nothing fancy, but it's kind of how I roll.
Jamie talking up his stroller cart. Understandable. How he rolls. Great birdie. We'll tap in par action. I think we saw some metal drawn during round 1 of my coverage. But today we have just this solo birdie by Jamie. Pair of pars and the bogey by Charlie. Now this one pushes out into the right. And the sunshine doing its work on me. That was one I couldn't quite follow. But this basket is to the right, a little bit longer. I'll leave it in there. Isaac faked me out. I'll go with that. And that is a great looking shot.
Did I go out? Maybe. Just hill? Questionable.
He was asking if it found the OB path on the right side. Spoiler, it stayed in bounds. A little bit of an early tree there for Adam. Charlie's going to line up the forehand, and Going after that left side tree. A little bit of struggles here. We saw him start out so well. That is a well-executed shot there by Adam. Just really tough to generate the right amount of power, but to also have the finesse that he did. Having his foot, having his weight a little off-center there, as opposed to a standstill like we see here from Charlie. And that's about circle's edge. Maybe just inside of it. So I think back after seeing Isaac just miss that. I think back to some of those moves. I feel like my mom perfected a move like that in Jazzercise a number of years ago, but not quite dialed in for that putt. If you're old enough to remember Jazzercise, leave it in the comments. It is a fine lost art, let me tell you. And Jamie picks up the birdie after going deep, the uphill putt. I also now wonder how many of you have no idea what I'm talking about when I reference Jazzercise. But anyway, Charlie's back. He's inside the circle. As I said, this is for par. That's some left side chain. So it seems like he's just a little rattled. Well, that faked me out. I thought he was going to tap out. Instead, his disc actually, I think, landed on top of Isaac's. Have to tap in, and so pretty surprising. Not to harp on it, but surprising after such a great start here by Charlie. That's 3 bogeys in a row, 9, 10, and 11. After looking at the scorecard, I see that things are still quite competitive score-wise, but not what we were expecting to see after such a great opening for him. And Jamie's looking for a little bit lower, trying to take down some of the branches along with him. This pin has been pushed back, I want to say a good 80 feet, and then it brings the elevation on that left side and the sidewalk into play more. Huge turnover shot. That was with a Proto Annex. Oh, correction, Onyx. Loving the skip shot straight ahead. I know I mentioned yesterday we saw 3 or 4 different approaches.
All I got right now.
And Charlie says all he's got is the grippy lock. I feel like you see that in an infomercial. But 3 or 4 different approaches here on this hole. You can go out wide. You can play it up the gut. You could go with a forehand. And Jamie, after releasing that, says he thought he threw it a little bit short. He's got a little work to do. Charlie's going to play the skip if it sits, and it does. Solid play there. And then off on this far right side of the fairway is where we see Isaac, and he really pondered as to how he was going to get out of there. Oh, that one bounces up, killing the momentum. So he's got some work to do. We'll see if Adam doesn't quite connect. And then it gets up and rolls away. So Adam's putting woes are not going to be helped here. Little low for Isaac. Adams, he's got some serious work coming back and hits the pole. So unfortunately, he turns the birdie look into a bogey. Well, I don't know what to say there,
There you go.
Jamie.
You're ready. It's not bad with me.
I'm going to go with some flow of play.
Touch.
And after working hard for the last few holes, Charlie, great up and down there. He's going to walk away with the par. And the rest of the group struggling.
Oh, bogey.
I think if there was such a thing as a bogey monster, Jamie would have the voice down. That was definitely the bogey monster voice. As we see 3 bogeys. The bogey monster was visiting hole 12. So Charlie's going to take the box. Hole 13 pushes back and to the right. So I'll say that it takes the OB sidewalk out of play a little bit more, but now you have to throw it harder. And when you're throwing it harder with a tunnel shot, I just feel like you could possibly grip lock, which we saw from Charlie, or maybe even a little bit of early release, actually. Jamie squares up that one. Isaac's just teasing me now. With so many options available, forehand, backhand, flirts with the overhand. Isaac, you're keeping me guessing here. I'm just a one-man camera guy. What do you want me to do? All right. We're going forehand, low and clean, and that is a good-looking shot. Just a bit short. And yet again, Adam, solid drive. Let's see how close he is. Hopefully he can capitalize on that. He has put himself in position so often this round and just really struggled from inside the circle, as that one comes up short and right for Jamie. Now, I know I spoke of the wind way back on hole 5. We felt it a little bit there and on 6. And since then, things have been relatively calm. From one knee, Charlie, solid approach. Just a tickle.
Solid dunker.
Jamie calling it the solid dunker. I think that's appropriate for the disc golf course. All right, so Charlie saves his par. And just like that, Jamie does as well. So hole 13, not giving up too much. These guys are working for it.
Hey, bird. I got it too.
And after so many close attempts, Adam says, I got this. And we see pars from the other 3. So Adam is going to take the box after hole 13. Thank you to Disc Baron. Please check them out online. Love your disc golf needs. Great supporter, Jacob and crew. Appreciate it.
Shot.
Now this one adds a little bit of distance, but also again takes away. We saw the kind of the OB call that took place during round number 1. So OB is off to that left-hand side. Charlie's gonna think about flirting with it, but then it's gonna pop up, and he'll be in good position, about pin high. So I'm not sure if this hole got easier or harder going to this slightly longer pin. just because the OB is not quite in play, but you do have to play out around this fenced-in area. That looks like a pretty solid shot there by Isaac. And as the slope is behind the basket there, you can only be so aggressive. You don't want something to get away from you here. I don't know if that at all was what made Isaac a little bit tentative. There is a slope behind the pin. Bang, bang. Charlie, after working hard for a couple of pars, comes back, gets the birdie on 14. Quick tap in, and Adam back to back, putting himself right there and picking up yet another birdie. Wow, he says the birdies have ended. Maybe you should go to the birdie store. That's where I'd pick them up. Ow.
Nice.
Squaring up with the tree on that right-hand side. Certainly not forgiving. 450 feet. This is a grim X by Charlie. And lays down the roller. Oh, and that's just tracking to the pin. Rolls right behind it. Goodpasture in birdie range right there on the dance floor. Jamie liked it. He's going to try and duplicate the effort.
More. Too soon. Kick left.
Man, a demanding fella.
That's pretty good, though. I'll take that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all right. You think it's good? I mean, it's not as good as Charlie's, but it was good. I'm trying to go with the Sky Flex turnover with his Proto Kong. That is more like Proto Woods. That is pushed into that right-hand side. And now we're going to see the roller. Slow down, slow down. Pump the brakes. So knowing he's got a little too much heat on that. Oh, Isaac, quit faking me out, man. And he's going to be left with a long putt trying to save his par. Just off the mark. You see how close he is with Charlie right now, along with Jamie. Adam's really only fallen back just a few strokes, and that was him trying to push out or get out of jail from that deep right side. Jamie's lined up. He said it wasn't quite as good as Charlie's, but he likes it. He's going to smack around his Calvin putters. Oh, ask and you shall receive. Oh, jumping around. All right, all right. Something tells me he likes that. We'll give it to him. Adam, not so much. And this is Charlie's drive. About 460 feet. Sweet cleanup. And back-to-back birdies on 14 and 15. So my question for you guys, do you roll? How far do you roll? When do you roll? Give me a little action in the comment section. I need to know, is it low ceilings? Is it forehand rollers, backhand rollers? Leave a comment telling me when you go to the roller shot. Maybe it's a go-to shot every throw. I don't know. I've seen some forehand rollers. Whatever it is, let me know in the comments. Please like, share, subscribe. I haven't even begged you yet this round for some love and attention. So please leave a comment. That'll make you eligible to win some sweet action as Charlie goes over stable. It's going to finish left of the pin. This is the limit. He says more hyzer. I don't think he needs more. I feel like he was being facetious there. This is a Raptor. Now this does pretty much take the OB that's on the right-hand side. We saw it yesterday. I feel like it does take the OB out of play. In fact, I feel like this hole almost gets easier. It just becomes a hyzer. Just throw it out there. You should be nowhere near the OB. At least the OB came into play and made you think about it during round one. But here in round two, just throw it hard, let it finish, 351 feet. Interesting thing about the course is holes 16, 17, and 18 are three of the easiest holes statistically. So as you're closing out the round here, these are the time to pick up a couple more birdies and really put yourself into position for the what will be now the final round. And speaking of the final round, I neglected to mention it in the front nine, but please make sure you check out Fox Hills Productions as they're going to be putting out all of the lead card action. And Jamie loves it. That's another birdie. He's on a little bit of a heater. I mean, if two birdies in a row are a heater. But Fox Hills putting out MPO and FPO lead card. Please go check out all of the action that they're providing. You want to see more of Jamie's pants and an ace from round one? I know they've got some of that for you. Another birdie by Goodpasture. That's 3 in a row. And just a few more tap-ins. We're through 16 holes, 2 left to go. Hey, I know that guy. .278 feet. I think this hole actually got a little easier. It might be a little bit longer, maybe 20 or 30 feet longer, but I think it got easier.
Stop that way you're running across my fairway.
And at this point, I notice I'm always watching you. Jamie, I see you. Disc Golf Guy, glad to support and sponsor the event, along with bringing you guys the free bonus coverage throughout the weekend. A little forehand action. I don't really see a problem with going long here, and I feel like both of those previous throws were tentative. Maybe even this one just a little bit. The slope on the backside is, I feel like, similar to the front side. So if you go just a little bit longer, you just barely creep over, you're probably going to have a putt inside the circle coming back at it. So whether you're short or long, you're probably going to have a similar distance. And now, being this much short, he's got to think about the landing angle. And I think that sat down for him. Oh, look at him giving us a little freestyle action. Oh. Jamie, I heard earlier he's a real outdoorsman. Somebody said something about putting a horseshoe on and then trying to tamper it down. I think that's what he was doing there. Maybe he was a little off center. And unfortunately, as he gives the shrug, Adam and his frustrations, got to give him a lot of credit. He was just off the mark, just barely off center for about a dozen putts during this round, and I can really commend and appreciate the composure throughout the round. A little bit of a frustrating day on the green. That one gets pulled in. We're going to be heading over to the north side course. That's another course I haven't seen. So excited to check that out for our final round. I hope you guys are going to join us for that. It'd be kind of weird if you didn't at this point. I feel like you're really invested. And Charlie saw a little bit of a distraction. He walked it off. Comes back and taps in for the par. Horseshoe is fixed. So we're going to move over to the final hole of round number 2. Thank you to Dynamic Disc, your supporting or your presenting sponsor, I should say, here of the tournament, this PDGA A tier. Oh, and I love the line.
Yeah, good shot, brother.
Great forehand there by Isaac. Charlie putting it on a line. It skips right next to the pin. Goes a little bit deep. This hole's about 40 or maybe 50 feet longer than it was yesterday.
A little long. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Jamie approves. Sending it somewhere? Adam says bye-bye as it heads off. It's about pin high, but it's going to be all the way on the right side. He's got a little bit of the pillars, some of the trees. He's got some work to do. And he keeps it low and
Make that for 3.
says he's got that one for the cleanup. We'll see. And if your tournament doesn't feature Bismarcky, I don't know what you're doing, because Jamie was feeling it. That's a great putt to close things out. He's going to push to 14 under. I feel like we might see more of him in round number 3. Charlie trying to close this out. Solid round. Great opening. And brings it all together at the end. Just a little hiccup, a little bogey streak there in the middle of the round. Solid performance, though. I feel like he was staring it down. Like, hey, basket. I'm about to get all up in it. Yeah, you showed him or her. All right, guys, we're going to close it out as Adam's going to come in for the tap-in. I can't say it enough. This coverage wouldn't be possible without my Patreon supporters and all of the sponsors and supporters I have throughout the year. You guys have been incredible. I look forward to seeing you in round number 3 at the Chainhawk Open presented by Dynamic Disc. Love you guys. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you tomorrow.